Hi Virgo, welcome to your early September 2021 general tarot reading. It's Rena here. Oh, 2 3s in a row. Wow. Huh. I'm not surprised that I'm getting all these major arcana cards because, ooh, we got a reversed card. Because your new moon is happening in just a matter of days as I record this in early September. So there you go. Major arcana cards can point to, more developments of a major variety, more change. The heart of the matter is the Empress card. Empress card numbered 3 in the major arcana, and knowing that the number 3 relates to creativity, growth, abundance. The Empress is connected to Venus, and therefore you can even see the symbol for Venus. Right, can you see it right there? With the heart, isn't that cute? And, Venus rules the signs of Taurus and Libra, so of course you could be dealing with one of those 2 signs this month. But in general, this is a card of love, of, financial abundance. This can be pregnancy, motherhood. And by the way, it might not mean that you're pregnant or that you have become a mother, but that you're thinking of it and that's really weighing heavily on your mind at this time. It can be a card of, like I said, creativity in the form of artistic pursuits too. In the past position, we have the 3 of Wands, so we have another 3, and the number 3 can really represent expansion. And this is certainly a card of expansion because the Wands represent fire energy, which is all about expansion. So it's like in both cases, it deals with that. So this is the person who is looking beyond their 4 walls or their local environment, and they're seeing that there's a whole big world out there. And this happens when a person has kind of gotten, tired of the life that they have been leading, and they're looking for growth opportunities. Now, the interesting thing about this is this has kind of like an entrepreneurial energy. So this is in the past position, though. So I could think of, like, let's say a woman. It could be a man in terms of with their partner. But I'm thinking specifically, because there's a feminine, I think the Empress is the divine feminine, of, maybe some female Virgos out there who have gone through their career. They've been there and done that. And now they're like, hey, I would kind of like to perhaps become a mother now. And if you're somebody, because I do get people sometimes that say, well, I'm not, that's not my time of life. I'm closer to retirement now, or I am retired. And for somebody like that, I would say pursuing something creative, perhaps, and, whatever it is that you've always wanted to do, that you've kind of been putting off, doing that instead of, maybe you were traveling. Maybe you were like looking for expansion in a physical sense through expanding your geography, and now you're trying to expand yourself by creating. And, some people, they create children And that's why this card is connected to motherhood or parenthood, if you want to include men. But there's also other forms of creativity. So pursuing those things. Maybe you have an empty nest and you're through raising children and now you can focus on yourself. Well, one of the ways you may decide that that is pleasing to you is something that has to do with creative self-expression. Also, another thing too is like being ready for love. That's another thing, because the Three of Wands to me has such a freewheeling aspect to it. And it's kind of like having that time to just, do your own thing, be your own person, and now you can commit to somebody and not feel like you are losing anything in the process. The higher message is the High Priestess, and I see this as a card of tuning into your higher self, be still and know. And what this means, because this is supposed to be more of the spiritual outlook or lesson in all of your dilemma, your situation, is that maybe before you were looking to the world to tell you which way to go, when you have all the answers within yourself, and all it requires is for you to be willing to tune into that. One of the things with Virgos, and I know because I have the moon in Virgo, is that there tends to be a lot of skepticism. So even those Virgos who consider themselves new agey or, spiritual in some way, may have that little part of themselves that's a little bit always doubting, questioning, analyzing whatever messages come to them, or in intuition kind of gnawing at them, that you might second guess it or even outright dismiss it if it's not something that you would normally do or think. You dismiss it out of hand. So looking at that tendency to do that is very important, because when people have a tendency to just dismiss things, they obviously are not going to be able to read the cues of divine guidance coming to them. And I'm saying this for myself as well. What crosses you is the Seven of Wands. And this can be a situation, I think, of excessive or even defensiveness in general. With Virgo, you're hard on yourself. So it's not like it's just about everybody else. You're pretty hard on yourself. And if somebody is criticizing you, or it's actually not that they're necessarily criticizing you, you're perceiving it that way. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you are thinking about making a major change in your life, be very careful about sharing these plans with others, because they may react in a way that is discouraging to you, and you may feel like you're going to believe them even if what they're saying isn't true for you. You might actually take it to heart, because you do already tend to second guess yourself. So you don't want to do that. If somebody is reacting in a way that is discouraging you, they're really telling you about themselves more than they're telling you about yourself. And this is not that uncommon for people to do that, either because it's something that threatens them when they see you taking some kind of chance in life that they have been too afraid to take. Like, for instance, if you are somebody who is artistic and you are going to go for pursuing your passion in that, and they have kind of taken the easy way out, you just kind of highlight to them all the things that they're not doing. And so it's human nature, of course, lower human nature, to discourage other people from doing it so that you can keep them in the same box as they're in, so that they can do that, so that they don't have to feel like somebody who is stretching themselves, that they don't make them feel like they're playing it too safe or what have you. And the same thing applies to having children. If you are maybe the first one out of your group, and the other people, maybe you have a good relationship and they don't, and they're envious of that. So you never know what's motivating other people, even people who aren't your enemies, who may really have positive feelings towards you, but they're just insecure about their own choices in life. They can be quite discouraging to another person simply because they don't want to be the one who is not doing whatever. They want to seem as though the choices that they've made have all been the right ones, and that they don't have to do anything else. A lot of people are going through life on automatic, and they're not really engaging life in an intentional way. They just kind of are stepping into some prefabricated template and just going with it. And that's their choice. But sometimes you want to step out of step off of the hamster wheel. And that might be what that Three of Wands represented to you, is that you're getting more creative or freedom loving and that kind of thing. So be careful about that, because you may feel like you're going to be on the defensive and you don't want to be there. So don't put yourself in that position. Don't set it up that way. What is coming in is the Death card. Death is inevitable. Now, of course, people automatically think of physical death, which is inevitable. And that is another reason why, if we know that our physical form does not live here forever, then there's even more sense of urgency in terms of some of those goals that you want to accomplish. Now, obviously, we are eternal beings, so it's never, there's never going to be a time where you accomplish all your goals, unless you have no goals. You're always creating more. That's why Abraham Hicks says, you can't get it done. What Esther Hicks says, you can't, I don't know how she, I'm sorry, I can't think of it, but she says, and you can't get it done, whatever. But it's like, there's always going to be a new goal, in other words. And yet, by the same token, we do go through phases in life, and the Death card really represents that something in your life is coming to an end. Are you willing to accept that? Or are you trying to hold on to something that is gone? So, for instance, let's say you are pregnant. Maybe you have dreams of that of the Three of Wands. Maybe this was an unplanned pregnancy, and you're still holding on to the fact that there was this time when you could go anywhere and do anything. You didn't have to answer to anyone. And what I would say to that, the High Priestess is reminding you that you have a higher self. And that higher self is always in communion with God. And we are always connected with God, but our higher self is really the part of ourselves that never is out, that is always on in the spiritual dimension. And we are here. When I say we, I'm talking about our, body, mind complex, or whatever you want to call it, our consciousness and inside of our body is here right now in this third dimension. And so we are constantly, having to shift between two perspectives, the higher self and the embodied physical self. And the Empress is very much that embodied self. So being, making peace with that. And, there's nothing that can hit that message home clearer than being an impending parent. Maybe this is your first child and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've lost my freedom. And while that may be true in a certain way, you've gained something very beautiful. This is a whole new chapter in life, but you may be finding it hard to relinquish it, the old chapter. And all you can do is be a witness to it. You can't really rush the process, but you can impede the process by trying to hold on to an old way of being. So for instance, let's say you're pregnant and you're staying out until 3 a.m. You might not be drinking. You might not be doing any kind of vices, but you might still be kind of burning the candle at both ends because you're not ready to go to bed at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And that's something that you're going to have to reconcile. And how you do that is realizing that the life that you were leading before is over. There's no question about that. Now, obviously, I'm speaking specifically for future parents, people who are anticipating having a child. However, this can apply to different areas of life. Maybe you are going for your dream of becoming a professional artist. And because of that, you have to let go of something from your past that may have been very comforting, felt secure. Perhaps you used to get a weekly paycheck, and now you're getting, you have commissions, but it's not really guaranteed. You don't know, it's unpredictable. The outcome, the 9 of Wands, but in the reverse position, if we look at the person is very guarded. This is the guard at the gates. And they're holding on to it. And they're very guarded. In the reverse position, yes, in some cases you have to be careful that you do not allow yourself to let down your guard against somebody. And that could be that person that the 7 of Wands represents, who doesn't want you to change, because they can be very cunning in trying to make you question your choices. But other than that, this can mean that you are letting down your defenses in a positive way, that you're not so afraid anymore. If you're falling in love, which the Empress can be, that you're letting down the guard. Maybe you're with a Sag, I don't know. Or any of the fire signs, Leo, Aries, that you're letting down your guard. And that means that you're letting somebody into your life. And that's really what it's all about. Until you can allow yourself to let somebody in and not feel like it means that you're going to just completely lose your sense of autonomy. That's sometimes where fear of intimacy comes in. Oh, maybe the death card is a Scorpio coming into your life. In any case, that's what I have for you, Virgo, and I hope that this resonated. If you would like a personal reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.